just if I take half a minute, then there's something called self cycle and something called donor cycle. Self cycle is when the husband wife give their own gametes, and donor cycle is when the gametes are donated by somebody externally, right? Either eggs or the sperm. So this is also one of the main important thing which people or like a patient has to see whether the clinic is providing self cycle or they are like more insisting on the donor cycle, because self cycle is of course a little difficult treatment, right? And of course with the donor gamete it becomes much more easier with higher success rates, etc. So I think people have to look beyond success rate. People will have to look at the right, pricing, costing, like, because they have to see which clinic is more transparent, which clinic is more ethical. I think these are the very, very important things one has to look at, right? And those are like, as I said, those are difficult things to judge, and especially from the external. So I think you have to meet doctors based on your research or based on your own, basically recommendation from your gynae, and then you have to start understanding that, like, who are the people who are, who have got good doctors, who are really helping you in terms of your emotional journey, where you see much more transparent information coming out of the clinic, who are counseling in what kind of manner. Is clinic giving you authority, or they are making you partner in terms of decision making or not, right? They are not kind of imposing the decision of the treatment on you. They are giving you options, they are asking you to take decisions, they are giving you pros and cons of each kind of. Those are important for
Sir, thank you for highlighting like how to approach, I think this point which you have highlighted, whether the clinic is registered under the ARP board or not, do they have the PCPNTT certification or not? This is very important because in peripheries, there are so many doctors who just go forward as doctors and keep doing treatment. They are not registered, they don't give any medical records, they don't store any medical records. And what sometimes, we see patients who come to us, they say they've done 2-3 cycles and they don't know what they've done. So even in this era when everything is documented and everything has to be documented, yes, there are people who are being taken for right. So now we have our Shri Murali Krishna Garu here. I would like to ask you, sir, your legal perspective on this topic. So day in and day out, I'm sure you must be hearing a lot of issues. We want to understand what are the common deceptive or fraudulent cases, or how people are getting misled in this field of infertility. సో మీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్లో మీరు చూసినవి కొన్ని హైలైట్ చేస్తే అది మా జనాలకు ఉపయోగపడుతుందని మేము భావిస్తున్నాము.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం. I have put up 30 years of service in Hyderabad city. In my 30 years of service, we have seen many cases against doctors, against hospitals. But this type of infertility related cases, I faced only one case. I should not give the name of that institution also and police station also. It was around 10 years back. A lady from Old City came stating that I paid 10 lakhs of rupees. They used all sorts of medicines against me. I put on weight from 60 kgs to 100 kgs. Like that she came. So we were reluctant to, first of all, to take the complaint because something related to medical thing. But anyhow, we have taken her complaint. Later, within few days, around 20 ladies have come, most of them from villages, very poor. They were saying that they were being exploited, and 2-3 young girls also came saying that their embryos have been, embryo, I don't know what, I don't know the correct pronunciation, that also being stolen. So somehow we have booked the case. And at that time, the case was only cheating and criminal breach of trust. Only IP sections were there. But now, this Assisted Reproductive Technology Act has come, 2021. And after coming this, recently in Secunderabad, one some clinic Sushti, something like that. So there was a case against them. So it was a very famous case where a lot of money was involved and even the babies were sold. Any money is involved and more number of persons are coming to our institutions, normally it tends to do that exploitation. So that exploitation, to regulate that, this act has come. So whenever we receive the complaint, definitely we'll use this act. And all doctors and all your staff knows the act very well. And better make it aware more because nobody is aware. Even first time I'm reading this act. Being an ACP, first time the public doesn't know that. And the act should be clearly mentioned in your IVF centers. If any violation is there, you can approach police in these sections. So like this, if you display, so that the poor people, even in my village, 30, 40 years back, if a lady is not having children, they used to be discriminated. Even they are coming in front of us, they used to go in another way. తెలుగులో గుడ్రాలు అందరు. సో అది కాకుండా మీరు IVF సెంటర్స్ వచ్చేసి పూర్ పీపుల్ కూడా మీరు కొంచెం హెల్ప్ చేస్తే యు ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ గాడ్స్ చిల్డ్రన్స్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్స్ క్రియేషన్. సో ఆ డాక్టర్స్ ఆర్ గాడ్స్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for highlighting the importance of the act and మీకు జనరల్గా మనకి జరిగే fraudulent things ఏంటి అన్నది మీరు హైలైట్ చేశారు, which is very important because మీ అనేది ఉంది. సో ఈ యాక్ట్ మనం తెలుసుకోవాలి అండ్ మీరు ఒక లవ్లీ పాయింట్ దట్ హీ హాస్ పుట్ ఫోర్త్ దట్ ద fertility centers must educate people about this act which is there. I think అది చాలా మంచి take home message which you have given us, sir, and we'll definitely try to implement it for the common better of the people. Now that we are talking about the act, now let me again take my question forward to Dr. Geetendra Sharma, sir. Something that is useful that the patients need to know. And is there some change that you would want to suggest? Maybe the act is wonderful, but the implementation is not happening or it is not translating in a right way. So do you want to suggest what is it? How do you want to take this question forward?
So basically, as I have said, that